I think that's a big skill to have as an entrepreneur, is that somebody that is constantly up for change and able to adapt to new trends. And Paul Decker says it best in episode 19 when he says that you can either take it all in and dwell on it, or you can go, all right, what do we have to do? I'm tying this into being able to adapt and change as an entrepreneur because there's many times that a challenge arises, and are you going to be the person that's going to lay down and not solve the problem? Or are you going to be the person that takes initiative and says, okay, what needs to be done in order to solve this problem? I could go on and on about the influence that Paul has on this channel and my mindset after the episode, because there's so many takeaways from this episode. I mean, I think I have 10 plus short videos that I put on the II podcast clips channel that are just short little clips, because the original podcast is 2.5 hours. So it's quite a lengthy one, but super interesting. And we talk about so many great topics, and it's wisdom packed, and you should really go listen to it because it's a really good podcast. But anyways, to sum up that episode, I'd say one of the main takeaways that I took away from Paul was that he has an understanding of people's perspective. And it's very interesting to hear that he says it's really important that you know the person's perspective that you're talking to. And that comes up when I asked him, what is the difference between a discussion and an argument? Because I find that a lot of times nowadays, everybody just gets into arguments about politics, religion, everything. It's just an argument. You just blurt out your own opinions and don't take anybody else into consideration because you think that you know best. And it's just so one-sided right now that everybody's in arguments. So I asked him, what's the difference between a discussion and an argument? And his response was that an argument is where you're shouting your opinions at somebody and you're not taking into consideration where somebody else is coming from. So on the other hand, a discussion will be where you ask questions to better understand where the person is coming from. So you're not just blurting out your opinion, and not even caring about theirs, because then you're just shouting back and forth, blurting your own opinions and not having an open mind to learn. But instead, you should ask questions, and this can actually turn an argument into a discussion if you just start asking questions and learn where they're coming from to maybe help better understand where they're coming from, and both people can help each other learn. And this can actually, like I said, turn an argument into a discussion because it'll de-escalate the situation and won't be as much shouting and yelling because you're digging deeper into understanding where that person is coming from. The next topic I want to cover is failure. Even with research, because researching a business is very important when you're first starting, even with research, a lot of companies fail or have challenges that arise. And a famous Vince Lombardi quote is, "It's not how you fall down, it's how you get back up." And Paul gives a good comparison on this topic to leaders who helped America become a union, because they didn't just say, okay, we have everything written, everything's done, we're just going to sit back and not take charge and not continue to grow. And they weren't arrogant enough to do that because they continued to grow. And when something failed or something needed to change, they continued to push forward and asked people anywhere on the ladder, whether they were somebody that had a normal job or they were high up in the union, they asked them for advice and would take that advice. It's very important as a leader that you be transparent and ask for advice, because it doesn't matter who the person is, they still have a voice and could be seeing something that you're not really seeing that could really help the union in this case, or the business, a lot of different things. And Elsie also said this when I asked him what advice he'd have for young entrepreneurs. He said that you should learn from your failures, fail often, fail fast, and fail forward, because it is what you learn from your experience that really matters. To maybe mitigate this chance of failure and to continue learning, Paul Decker says that the only thing that he wishes he could have done in past situations, he doesn't have any regret. I did ask him that. But he says that he wishes that in past situations that to save more time, to learn more, and to mitigate failure will be just to ask more questions. because asking the right questions will help you to avoid failure and learn something that maybe could save you a lot of time. In hindsight, it's easy to think of these questions because we come to find out what we need to know in order to succeed. But it's important to take a step back in situations and think, what could help me save time if I just asked it right now instead of waiting until later to find out? Because why not just ask it now, and it could lead to another question from that answer that the person gives you.